welcome back to my channel. And if you're new here, my name is Caitlin. I go by Catalin, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you all the books I read in May. So let's just hop right in. First up, we have the selection by Kira, and I absolutely loved it. I gave it 4 stars. I thought it was such an interesting storyline and concept. Like, I enjoyed this book. I hear a lot of negative things about it, so that's why I decided to read it. And I absolutely loved it. It's perfect for YA, fantasy, fiction, dystopian. But the selection is basically The Bachelor and a kind of dystopian world where they have classes and she's in one of the bottom classes. Like, it's kind of like districts with the Hunger Games, and she was in one of the lower ones. And basically they had this draft for females for being a bachelorette for the prince, and the prince has to choose at least one female to marry. And she basically goes in there. She had a boyfriend at the time. She broke up with him. He broke up with her, basically. It was like, I want you to be... He was in a lower class than her. And he was like, I want you to be able to make sure that, you know, you have this opportunity. Don't let it slide, whatever. She was mad, heartbroken, whatever. She ends up getting drafted. And she basically told the prince, look, I'm just here to enjoy the food, being pampered, stuff like that, but I'll help you pick one of these females, which I spend most time with. And a lot of stuff goes down, and I really hope she ends up with the prince. I'm really excited to read the next book. So the next book I read was Twisted Games by Anna Hung. And I definitely enjoyed this a lot more than the first book. I gave it 4 stars because it was a good storyline. Like, it was my first ever bodyguard, royal celebrity kind of situation where she ends up falling in love with the bodyguard. But I will say this, the only reason I gave it 4 stars and not 5 stars is because I predicted it. Basically, she finds a way to be with the guard. The guard had a rough past or whatever, and he never knew his dad. Spoiler alert, I think. But his dad was basically from her country, and that's how they ended up being able to get together. So I will continue the series. Next book in the series is Twisted Hate, and basically it's about the first girl, her brother, and one of her best friends. So I'm excited to read that one because I love enemies to lovers. And yeah. The next book I read was Everything I Know About Love, and this is about a British journalist. I'd say if you loved Angus Thongs and Perfect Snogging, you'll enjoy this book. It's basically an mature level. It's like an adult Angus Thongs and Perfect Snogging. I gave it 4 stars because it really gave great advice and it was funny, and I will share some of my good read highlights right here. But it took me forever to read it. Like, I'm gonna be honest, it took me forever and that's why I didn't get to all the books I wanted to read in May. It took me a while, but I got through it and I did enjoy it. It's just nonfiction is not my preferred to read. I'm just pushing myself to read one nonfiction book every month. So that's what I did. But yeah, if you liked Angus Thongs and Perfect Snogging, this book is for you. The next book I read was Imagine Me by Tara Mafi, and I gave it 4 stars, you guys. I finished the series. In my next video, you're going to be watching me talk about this series. I honestly was disappointed. I didn't like how the ending was. It was rushed, and she could have done so much more with the ending, but she didn't. I like the thought of what happened, though, because it kind of gave me Divergent vibes, where, you know how Tobias was, like, injected and brainwashed? Well, that kind of happened to our main girl, but she fought through it, and yeah. And it gave me Mockingjay vibes. I have not read the novellas, but I am gonna pick them up and read them just because I feel like there's missing bits and pieces, and maybe that'll help me with this last book. I don't know. But basically, in this last book, they get separated again, and it was just not my vibe, honestly, because it took over half of the book for them to finally get back to each other. And I did like how she basically set the city on fire and took off, and I absolutely enjoyed that part. And there's going to be spoilers in my next video, so I'm just going to save it. The last book I read in the book of May, I'm still reading it. It's called The Perfect Marriage by Geneva Rose, and it's getting really good now. I'm 61% of the way through. I'm reading it on my Kindle, and I want to know who the killer is. I honestly want to know the killer. I do have my suspicions on who it is. I think it's an inside job with the police department, but I'm not going to say who, I'm not going to say where. And if you missed my last video, I'm going to explain. The Perfect Marriage is about a guy and a girl. They're married, and he's a writer who hasn't been doing very good lately. And she's a big-time defense attorney, and she's getting it. Like, she's getting that money, she's doing amazing, yada, yada, yada. Well, they have a lake house, and he spends most of his time there at the lake house because she's always working, and he has a mistress. Well, one night, the mistress comes to the lake house while he's there, and his wife, Sarah, Adam and Sarah, by the way. Kelly is the mistress, and she was murdered at the lake house. And next thing you know, he's getting arrested for it, getting all the blame. And his wife, Sarah, decides to defend him, and it's getting really juicy now. But she believes Adam didn't do it, but she doesn't know because she doesn't know the side of Adam where he's been having an affair for a year. And so she really doesn't know if he could do this because she's seen a side of him that she's never seen before. And she teams up with one of the sheriffs there, and they're like, we don't really think Adam did it, but we don't have no other proof. We're gonna go ahead and charge him. And she's basically trying to solve this murder all on her own because they said case closed. But I have my suspicions. I don't think Kelly was married also, and lo and behold, Scott, Kelly's husband, works for that police department. I don't think Scott did it. I'm not saying that I think he was capable of doing it, but he didn't do it. There was, like, this girl was sketchy. This girl was very, very sketchy. So I'm halfway through it, and I'll let you guys know. So basically, that's all the books I got to in the month of May. Like, subscribe, comment, and you guys know what to do with all that. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!